stormwater.
So I'd like to call to order the Lower Stafford Township Board of Supervisors meeting of April 2nd, 2025, and ask everyone to stand in and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to our first public discussion period of the agenda. There are two, one at the beginning of the meeting, one at the end. Is there anyone wishing to be recognized? Seeing no one, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda items as posted.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Motion carries. Committee reports, zoning hearing board distribution.
There are no applications for April.
Park board.
The next park board meeting will be in this room, April 22nd at 7 p.m.
Very good. Fire chief.
All right, March fire report. We had 30 total calls, 19 a day, 11 at night, 6 brush fires, 4 dwelling fires, 4 fire alarms, 3 special services, CO detectors, 2 EMS assists and vehicle rescues, 1 commercial building fire, electric fire outside, elevator alarm, officer investigation standby, 20 in Lower Salford, 4 in Franconia, 2 in Salford, 1 in Townsend, Upper Salford, Lower Providence. Provided mutual aid 10, received at 7. Total personnel was 296. We averaged 9.9 per call and in service for 17 hours, 59 minutes and 9 seconds. Still busy with the brush fires last month. I think with after this week of rain, I think we'll be hopefully out of that for a little bit. Yeah, that doesn't help either. So we've been lucky, knock on wood, with the storms. We haven't had much calls recently with the winds and rains, but everything's going good. We just received in our gear that we got with I know the funding that you guys were able to help us with. So that just came in a week or 2 ago. So that just got put in service by some of our guys. So we're excited about that to keep us back on track with our gear for our personnel. So all is well.
Worked out the order for, I think it was the ladder, right? The next one we replaced. They didn't have to make that order by a certain time, get a discount.
But before the end of the year, there's a small percentage increase. I mean, every year there's a percentage increase, as we all know. So by the end of the year was, I think, in November.
Okay,
I believe.
Targeted
Yeah, we're still, working through that process of looking at trucks and trying to, see what's best for our township and our company. So. Thank you guys.
Thank you. If anybody wants to see the report, Jill will have it posted here at the township. I don't see anyone from Freedom Valley Medical Rescue this evening. So we will move right along. Communications Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sure. Last month, we worked on our new resident welcome initiative. We also updated, with the help of Holly and Grace, our quick reference guide. We had a QR code, figure make things a little easier as we update the signs, and we explored new ways that we can get that out into businesses and out to the public as well. Our next meeting will be here April 16th at 7:30 p.m. Both here, but also encouraged members of the public.
And that's listed at the bottom of the agenda. April 16th. Yep, very good. Any questions for Kat? No. Recreation Authority, we did meet, I guess, last week. Went over February's numbers, as anyone can imagine, with the weather. Not much golf was played in February. March was a much better month, at least the projection ahead. So we're optimistic that in the black before too long. Our next meeting is actually the Rec Authority, April 24th at 6 p.m. at the golf course. We do a tour once a year with the committee. Folks are welcome to join us. We go around and kind of do an overview of the course and its management. So anyway, 24th at 6 p.m. at the golf course. All right, no unfinished business, new business. 310 Covenant Lane preliminary final land development discussion of waivers only.
Waivers only. We have a short waiver list, so we're good. And I think we're all familiar with the project and the location.
We're putting a building and parking addition on, and we have a little parking lot that we're putting up at the corner of Covenant and Town Pike. So, the first waiver requires sidewalk, curb, and storm sewer along all common parking areas. And we're asking for a partial waiver, to not provide sidewalks and curbs along all of the common parking areas. We're putting curb and sidewalk on the lower parking lot, kind of in accordance with the way the parking lot's currently set up. The area that doesn't have curb is located along the lower, adjacent to the basin. And that's going to have bumper blocks. And that's gonna sheet flow off into the grassed area, get caught up by the inlets and get into the basin. And then we don't need the curb for drainage purposes in that area. Which requires, the waiver number 2, which requires non-residential parking lots for more than 100 cars to be divided into sections by 15-foot wide planting strips, parallel and between rows of parking spaces. And that would mean in the new parking lot, where we have 2 rows of parking spaces together, we would have to put a planting strip in between that. So that would kind of push all those aisles away. So we're setting up the parking lot just like it is, like the existing parking lot is set up. So the traffic aisles remain where they are. If we added that strip, they'd be all offset. Number 3, which requires sidewalks, curbs, and storm sewers along all existing public and private streets. We're asking for a partial waiver for the parking lot up in the corner at Covenant, to not provide curb and storm sewer along Town Pike. That's the VC zoned parcel. Curbs not needed along there for drainage, and the proposed sidewalk is located outside of the PennDOT right of way and in a location that if you were to come and put curb in, it would not impact the sidewalk. So we're putting the sidewalk in, asking for the waiver for the curb. You'll notice that there is curb along Covenant Lane, and the sidewalk that is along Town Pike will continue down along Covenant Lane and connect into the church property. We're asking for a deferral of the installation of curb, storm sewer, and sidewalk along the grassed parcel where Mike is pointing. It's undeveloped. They're just doing some grading over there to kind of level out the area so they have additional area for outdoor activity, but they're not putting the sidewalk in. We are going to, however, grade that area should sidewalk come in the future. Number 4, which requires a site element screen for outdoor waste collection areas. We have a dumpster pad, and we're just asking for a waiver to allow just an opaque fence, none of the vines or ornamental trees and shrubs surrounding it, and that's just for maintenance purposes. That's it.
What about number 5?
Oh, I printed out the wrong waiver letter. My apologies. Number 5, preliminary final.
Can I just ask the number 3?
Yeah.
If we were to be inclined to do that, should that not be a deferral versus a waiver? Since we would someday in the future still like to have the ability to force that issue if it was necessary. I'll look to our solicitor for that.
So the deferral for, you mean the curb along the VC parcel?
Curb,
Sure.
sure,
Yeah.
I think we've gotten in the habit, it's always talk about the sidewalk, but any improvements within the public right of way that we tend not to waive or defer, so that there's still an opportunity for us to come back to a bigger project to ask for that in the future. And then Michelle, just, I think I know the answer, but what was the planning commission's supportive of all waivers?
Yes.
Okay, and they were all on the same page with not requiring the installation of the sidewalk on the R1A piece, but just to grade it for future use?
That is one of the reasons why Susan had to come back to another planning commission meeting, because she had to show to see how happy she is. because she had to show the grading in that area to prove that sidewalk could go in. But yes, after that, they were fine with it.
And if, Mike, you can plan back up for a minute, this is completely unrelated to the waivers, but I was curious. I said something. Is there a paper street between them and the village, or what, or is that, oh, that's a sanitary sewer easement?
Easements,
That runs behind the houses between the church and the, okay.
that's
Fine.
easement.
And then the basin is discharging into an existing storm,
Existing storm and there's an easement there, right?
and is it going into anything, or is it just a graded
It's a
swale?
channel, graded vegetated swale.
Okay.
Mhm.
Across the back, then,
Right.
is that where, does any stormwater currently discharge into that area?
Yes, that is currently an above ground basin.
And that's going into the underground basin, that's where it all.
Correct,
goes right
same discharge, same point discharge, and the NPDS permit is currently under review.
now. Fine.
I'm actually gonna hop on that question. One of the questions I had, please, which is with regards to sidewalks. Do you have any hydraulic calculations that would demonstrate stormwater runoff will be adequately managed without a curb? And there will be no negative impact on any other properties, adjacent properties?
Yes. So in the storm report, we do include calculations to show that the sidewalk that's not there is considered in the stormwater calculations. And the areas that we're not providing curb on site, overland flow to inlets that discharge directly into our basin and not overland to downstream properties.
And I agree with that.
Thank you. Also, and I understand the sidewalk as well. One thing, I know this for church, so I wanted to ask, how does this plan account for pedestrian safety, especially for those with disabilities, potential future connectivity?
So that was a huge discussion at the planning commission, where we're putting sidewalks, how we're getting ADA accessible routes. So you'll notice that along Covenant Lane, they are providing a sidewalk that goes along Town Pike and then comes down Covenant Lane and provides the accessible routes and ADA ramps to cross Covenant Lane. We have one at the top to get across at the Town Pike intersection. And then you have two ramps that will cross the driveway that is getting into the new parking lot. And then you have a ramp at the bottom that will get you across Covenant Lane to the bottom. And that whole sidewalk will connect you to Covenant, the church sidewalk.
Thank you. The other question I had, I think, in regards to the planning strip, one thing we were recently talking about with our community center, I learned more about why they're there, they're really critical, so we can have settings for fair. But I know there's environmental impact as well. Are there any measures implemented to offset these loss benefits?
So the reason the planning strip is not there is because of the way the existing layout is. But the landscape plan does account for island plantings in each of your islands, and then at the ends of each of the planting or the parking rows. There is already a substantial buffer along all property lines, and the one that is backing up against the existing residences at the top is being enhanced. So lots of additional buffering. Sure.
My other question, I think, there have been answered for me with the deferral, I appreciate that. I also, gentlemen, what I feel in regards to separating the preliminary plan and the final plan. Yeah, not in favor of that, just for the record, but that is something we've already discussed before. The only other question I had, and thank you as well, was something in regards to, I think, the lines.
It's the fourth waiver request probably where the only part of the waiver is that they're not providing vines around the fence for the dumpsters.
Yes, and in regards, do you have any comments to that, Michelle, as well? Does that cover her aesthetics, or is there any kind of recommendations? They're using the correct kind of lines.
Oh, they're asking for a waiver to plant
Waiver.
any of the vines. One thing that we looked at is the location of the dumpsters and what it would have to screen. And it's screening, it would, the fence is screening the existing residential properties and the road. And the fence will adequately do that.
So I guess the other question with the supplemental landscaping you're putting elsewhere. Why was there, I mean, just, and I'm not looking for the church side, but the two sides from residential and where you could possibly see it, it's like, you don't want to put any additional landscaping in that area just to soften the look of the. vinyl
We
fence.
have, yeah, we have.
No, but I'm saying,
Oh.
along the am I missing it, or is it?
Can you zoom out a little bit?
It's up high.
Up, yeah, is
You
that
don't-
right?
so you don't, you think it's better there than putting it immediately adjacent?
Well, so yes, I do, and then also we have the two end planting islands there too, that are going to have two canopy trees and then some shrubbery in there
I was
as
just
well.
thinking softening the vinyl fence itself as you're closer to
Mhm.
it.
And keep in mind too that there is a pavilion that's existing there, so yeah. And so that's a roofed concrete pad, so there's a, yeah,
Not going.
yeah.
And thank you, I apologize, I did find a specific question I
Mhm.
had, and, that was just, the ordinance specifically calls for ornamental tree shrubs for aesthetic reasons. Have you explored options for other low maintenance or native plants, species that could satisfy both the aesthetic requirements and the applicant's needs? I think that's.
Yeah,
thanks,
right.
So I appreciate that.
Sure.
Then the other question in regards to that fence as well, what material is proposed for the big fence? And what would its lifespan be?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that.
There is a detail on the plan.
There.
Is it a vinyl fence or?
No, I think it's wood fence.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me see. I didn't bring the detail.
I haven't looked at that in a long time, so, yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Maybe we was last minute.
No, it's not that. I didn't bring the detail plan.
Yeah,
It's like solid wood.
yeah,
And I guess the rationale would be, purely with the long-term aesthetic considerations. Regarding fading, staining, graffiti and stuff like that, I was just curious what it was.
I can't find it.
No worries, I will say, as you're looking for that as well, they're the only questions that I had.
Okay.
As questions, well, I do want to point out, as we always say, these are just considerations for waivers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see the detail.
We'll be fine then.
We'll get a detail on the plan, yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
Sorry. Bottom right corner. That's nice. No, that's not.
No, there's not a,
Yeah.
but it's,
I couldn't see anything, that's why I figured I'd ask.
we'll get that on the plan. It's not gonna be chain link though.
Is there a a preference as to vinyl or wood? No, okay.
I don't know, what do you have there, Dean, now? What do you have now? Do you have anything? Nothing.
There's a couple of trees right by it.
Okay. Okay, because the dumpster is kind of in the location that it is now, but
They're just a small, they're not a huge dumpster. There's one for recycling and one for trash.
Right. Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thanks, we're generally good with it, so let's look at them on the plans when that's.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Next up, E41 Main Street amended final land development plan discussion of waivers only. As everyone knows, I have a financial interest in that property, so I won't be voting, I'll refuse myself, but, I mean, I don't want to refrain from comment. So it's our understanding, there are no new waivers.
No new waivers.
So the waivers have already been voted on, this is amendment to final, and we'll be in front of
Exactly.
us next month for consideration.
Exactly.
Any
Must
questions?
be-
Any
must
board
be
members?
approved this-
No,
And specifically for the public amendment to add 4 more, I believe, or 6.
So, take the office use off and add 4 units,
in
residential,
same location.
as the office, yeah. Mhm.
I told Kevin and Keith I was gonna ask you a half hour's worth of questions just from. But are there any questions for the other board? No. No, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, we will need a motion to approve fire police assistance to Tolmancy Township for Tolmancy Community Day on Saturday, May 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. That brings us to our second discussion period. Is there anyone wishing to be recognized?
We recognize.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, there you go, yes.
I seem to remember, at Little Rock, if you're a, resident of the township, you get a discount to play?
That's a municipally owned golf course.
Okay. And what kind of discount is that?
It depends on the hour of days you play. But I think the smallest discounts are a couple hours around.
Okay.
There's a three.
I was just curious.
These cars for these telling the resident. I know it about years ago. It's like-
I think they just show them the driver's license.
Okay.
Something like that.
And I've lived here for 5 years now and have only played there once, so.
Hope you
I'll
keep
have
it
to-
to the resident.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? We have need this evening for executive session, Mr. Bukowski.
We did for a matter of real estate.
Without an intention to return.
Correct.
Very good. So with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn. Move the second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.